Alright guys, BLM here, back with more Forbidden West. I'll record a bit here. Once I can get everything sorted, there we go. Oh yeah, we were near the contract guy, right?
Is at work here.
Or
I cannot
woman.
afford any distractions.
Anyway.
If you require salvage, you can... Oh, a hunter! Yes, good, good. I was hoping one would stop by. There's no time to waste.
Aloy.
That old boar, Karif, is expecting me to merely make the best armor in the Forbidden West. But I, Hunger, will give him a masterpiece. And you are going to help me make it. Of course you'll be compensated, though seeing me at work should be gratifying enough.
You're one of Karif's people? So you're competing to make armor for him too. With the Tanakh right next door?
Ha! They've got problems of their own to worry about. Besides, I'm not just making armor. I'm making a work of art, imbued with the majesty of ancient machines and wondrous relics, with the steadfastness of the gentle plow horn and the fury of the raging ravager. So, where do you want to start?
You talked about using ancient relics for your armor?
Correct. But that dream has fizzled like a wet forge.
What do you mean?
I acquired scouting reports on this area dating back to the Red Raids. They told of ruins filled with treasure. But some of our younger recruits stole the scrolls and absconded to go after the relics. I want them found before they run away with my salvage.
I can try to track them down.
Give them a good thrashing for me while you're at it, will you?
So you want your armor to wield a Ravager's fury. Sounds interesting.
I tracked down a pack of them near here. Shoot off one of their cannons, and I can make my armor just as deadly.
I'll, take a look. See what I can do.
Well, if you get to it, we'll pick it up when you're done.
You talked about using plowhorn parts for your armor?
I've been eyeing a herd not too far from here. If you can bring me the right parts, this armor will be as unwavering as they are.
I can try.
Oh, one more thing. Plowhorns sometimes leave a trail of flowers in their path. The Utaru infuse some kind of drink with them to soothe the mind. I'd like to try it, see if it inspires any ideas.
Right. I'll see what I can do. You said you wanted ancient machine parts for your armor?
Ah, yes. There's entire graveyards of them nearby. Dreadful things. With some of their parts, I can make armor that will instill fear and disquiet in the enemy.
I'll, read up on the details.
Splendid. I look forward to your success. Ah, need some machine parts? Or want me to take some off your hands?
There's a buy. That. Do we need anything here? Wait, why can't I get these? Oh, I can't get these. I can't get these. Anyway, I'm not gonna bother. thing is that, like, I wish you could see, like, what you needed for upgrades. But whatever, I guess.
Oh, we're done now. Excellent.
The question is, do I want to bother these? You still can't do that. Wait, what is it? Oh, that is the, okay. I should do this too at some point. Alright, I think we'll just do this. Wait, which one's which? Wait. It wants me to go to multiple locations. What's the actual objective? It's not gonna tell me?
I should read those contracts when I have some time. Figure out exactly what I have to do.
Alright, I think we're gonna listen to podcasts. This seems like kind of monotonous.
And the way they're just kind of bartering with KJ's life in front of her, like, it's all very like, this is like...
The KJ thing is crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, this is not the first time that KJ has been told to her face that she's part of the split. In the last couple of weeks, I think it speaks to, like, what kind of person KJ is. And I think that we see, like, her coming in, she, like, wants to be the Iron Lady. She's, like, really sucking up to them. And it was really unfortunate for her that Shay wins immunity. And that's, like, a bit of, like, it was unfortunate for Shay to lose Nina. So, I mean, like, a lot of the women on this tribe, like, didn't get exactly what they wanted. But I think KJ is going to be like, I'll just be the number, like, I will just, like, sit here and then, like, once we strike, maybe, like, at least a Stanger type part of the game, like, let me, like, wait really, really late. But the fact that so many people are comfortable telling her to her face that she's part of a split, I think maybe says more about her than about them, because it's happening with, like, different tribes.
Shit.
Yeah, and the way she was saying, like, oh, maybe this boy club needs a female president. It's like, like they don't want that. Like, I appreciate
Oh my God,
what
are
they're
you
trying to
fucking
do,
serious?
but, like,
Really?
what it just, to me, it just is this, like, this sad reflection of society where the men are in charge and the women have to just kind of, like, be submissive and, like, okay, you can barter with my life so that your game is, you know, forwarded. And then basically we are told what to do, and anyone who doesn't kind of fit the status quo will be out of here. And the most indicting, you know, the saddest indictment of a patriarchal society is that the women have to turn on each other in order to progress. And that's exactly what KJ has to do with Shay, and that when she says, oh, she shouldn't be glad that I'm here, and it's like even if this is just a game, it is this sad reflection of what we see in society every day.
Well, KJ's like throwing Shay under the bus for like warning her about the boys club and like talking about the boys club. I think like there's so many parts of this. So the fact that like, yes, the patriarchy and the fact that the boys are running things, No one enjoys that. But then there's the fact like, well, the boys are pushing back against something which, like, they're taking back their power. So, like, are they the disenfranchised people? But then it's like, wait, no. It's only been a few seasons of this, and they're already fighting. And in US Survivor, men ruled for so long, and it took so long for anyone to fight back on that. But already, it's like, no, we're the disenfranchised people of disenfranchised, and now we're gonna take back our power. It's like, well, can we have a little bit more? Like, it's only like 6 winners, 4-2. Like, can we get it to like 10-3, and then let's like really talk about like the president? But like already,
and let's not say it's been a few seasons. Dave had a iron grip on All Stars as his patriarchal figure. So let's not go nuts.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, that one season was too much. Like, I get it, but it also was like, we had one season of Haley being like the best player ever. Can we have more? Can we have more of it?
But still, George sucked all the airtime out anyway.
And it was still too much. And yet, US Survivor would go on for years and years and years before anyone stood up to what was clearly a very, very male dom. Anyway, it is what it is. I think that, the KJ thing, super interesting. Just like the kind of number that she is. I think you said that like you think Mark would win out over Geordie. I mean, Geordie had a better week than Mark. Like Geordie was onto Mark. Mark is saying like Geordie's not a malicious player, and Geordie's calling himself the Joker and like evil laughing confessionals. Okay. Like Mark seems like a really good player, obviously, but I think in this one interaction, like Geordie seems to have won the interaction.
Yeah, but Geordie's being set up as the villain, don't you think?
He called himself the Joker.
I feel like he is
like a well-known.
Yeah, I feel like he's being set up as the villain, and who's going to fall.
But like from a game perspective, like on the other side.
From a game perspective, yeah. No, I feel definitely this week. But I feel like it's not going to happen. I feel like I think they're going out of their way to make him seem unlikable. Is that like? I don't
know. I mean, like ever for Geordie. I mean, he like if anyone is like.
I don't mind him. No, I don't mind him, but I do feel that like there has been a reaction in general to him, and I like what he's bringing because it is a little bit juicy. God, I said it again.
Yeah, it is a little bit tasty. Terminology you use in your everyday life, or not tasty? It's a bit interesting.
Juicy.
What are you teaching your students in English?
I do say juicy all the time in class. I'm like, oh, these are juicy examples.
Don't admit that on the podcast.
Anyway. So what did you think of the whole Geordie seeing that he had the idol, etc.?
I thought he played it great. I thought he saw it, and then he was still like really congenial about it, and like acted like he, like wasn't super threatening in the way that Mark didn't feel threatened, and then Mark kind of felt like he had to tell him, but didn't feel like really like bad about that interaction, and came out of it being like, well, I still have the power in this dynamic, which I don't believe was true. I thought it was actually a great moment for Geordie. Am I like the number one Geordie defender on this planet right now?
No, I think it was a great moment too, for sure. I like that I feel like Mark misplayed it because I think that Mark has the right idea about keeping it secret. You always want to keep it as secret as possible. Unfortunately, the times that I have found things, people have been right there. So I have never been able to try and keep something secret, right? So I get that. But I think that when you reveal it afterwards, it's almost just as bad as not saying it at all, because it doesn't really engender trust, if you know what I mean. Like, because if you really wanted him to look for it with you, you would have told him about it in the first place. Don't you think?
Yeah, I mean, I felt it was awkward. It's like Geordie's like talking to him about where it could be, and then Mark's like, well, guess what? I already have it. It's uncomfortable, like witnessing it through Mark's eyes when he was missing like such crucial information, which is like A, at first Geordie knows about the clue, and B, Geordie's like onto you. I just felt like it was a bit of a low moment for Mark's game, which has been a great game. So a rare low moment.
Yeah, and like as my winner pick, like seeing a winner get shown in a negative light, not a negative. I feel like they didn't show it in a negative light, but they definitely didn't reveal him to have. All the information.
They definitely. He was. I think revealed to be wrong in that interaction. But he is again like the approachable one, and it's the same thing as last week, where like in this tiny vote that we get, this like non-starter of like Shay comes to him like, should we flip the vote? It's like, yeah, should Mark flip on his whole alliance for a plan he didn't even come up with? Like, well, this is just like a very, very interesting vote that is going to take out KJ. We have seen him be close to Mel, but like in what universe? But it's again that he's the one being approached as he was so much last week, and is he on the bottom? Is that why he's seen as approachable, or is he so central that he's approachable? And I'm not 100% sure which one it is.
Yeah. I think that there's a difference that's between him and Geordie, and like I think that perhaps why Geordie, people run up against Geordie like when they view him is I get the sense that he is one of those players that like hasn't been in trouble the entire game, and that makes people. It's not that he makes them arrogant, because I feel like edits love to paint people as arrogant, and I feel like that's such a two-dimensional way to look at players in a game. But I feel like when you haven't been in trouble for so long, it dulls how sharp you are in the game. Now, in this instance, he showed acumen by spotting him and trailing him and all that, but I feel like it dulls you to the way in which you're perceived by others. And the example that I go back to is Sam Webb and then Abby, two people that I played with who were never in trouble. Everyone kind of defaulted to them as kind of like alpha types. And I think about Abby specifically. Abby played like 40 something days of season 4 and was never targeted until she was blindsided, and then comes into All Stars. Her name is never in the mix until she's blindsided, and she just had this feeling that like she couldn't pick up on the fact that people were rankling against her, because it doesn't enter her realm of possibility that she is possibly going to be in trouble, because she's confident and she's good at challenges and she takes charge. Whereas someone like me, I always feel like I'm in trouble. I always feel like I'm on the chopping block, even when I'm not. And I feel like it makes me a little bit more in tune to what people are saying, and I'm always watching, and maybe that's the reason why people target me, because I look skittish. But I feel like with Geordie, he seems like he's just kind of like the way he talked to KJ felt very dismissive as well, when he was like squeezing his clothes in the water. I don't know, I just felt like he just felt like he's going to lose out, and I think it's because he's not sharp enough.
Well, it's two very different positions coming into the merge, like, of the people in power. Like, you have the water guys, who are, like, in control of water, a couple of votes in the very early days, but then Pranay actually sent me this tweet that he wrote, which was like, since those first two votes, actually no OG water members have been voted out. Like, Alex left and Nina got medivacked, but it's all been OG blood. So, like, if you look at, like, Sam and Jesse, who've been so central on the other side, like, they've been through it. Like, Jesse got a vote, like, flipped, like, even being part of the OG blood, like, it was flip-flopping, like, the Water Boys, which is not their name.
Was going on.
Yeah, there was a lot going on, whereas, like, the Water Boys they were in the majority, like, then, like, you know, they didn't really have a vote, they've been pretty much kind of, like, flush coincidental, and then they, like, swapped the majority, did get that, like, they voted out Sandra, and they did get that, like, male majority, and they've just like they had good positioning, and then they made the most of it. Like, it's been solid, but it's not been creative because it hasn't needed to be. So they're coming into the merge in two very different powerful positions, which is like stay the course, have been just like rock solid, easier run. Then I feel like people on the other side of like the Sam and Jesse of it all have like, I feel like really had to like, you know, jump over some hurdles to get to the merge. So it's just I think it's just interesting, and we'll see if that like that prepares them better, because they've both been to like a lot of tribal councils, but I think that it's just been a much harder run. So we'll see. Okay, before the Chippy, which we'll get to such a long, and we all going through things. Nick literally, we're grateful that you're even here tonight. But just before we do, can we please talk about the devastation? It doesn't even feel like it was this week. The first episode that Nina gets medivacked.
I'm sure Honda won't mind this for a bit.
Yeah, I mean, let's just deliver the eulogy, because it was, to me, not only just a devastating loss, but I think like pretty much the worst thing that could happen to the season. To lose one of the best players, one of the best characters, someone we were so invested in, and we know that Australian Survivor can't give story to everyone, but we knew Nina's story, we knew her plans, we knew her relationships. Like, that's actually pretty rare. Probably at the cost of others, and I don't regret it, because Nina will come back, because a dynasty was born, and she was worth it, and I enjoyed every second. I wouldn't take it back. But things were sacrificed in that, and we know a lot less about pretty much everyone else. So we lose that investment, we lose the story of Sandra. Like, it's sadder than Sandra even going, because Sandra went so that, like, Nina could fly. And if Nina got blind, But to end like this, like it actually makes the Sandra boot sadder, and it's sad right now. So I can't imagine anything worse than Nina randomly going poorly down a slide and getting Betty back from the game.
Knowing what her outcome was, I am surprised how much time they invested in her. I'm grateful because I enjoyed it, and I do think she will be back if the show goes on and on. So I am surprised. I just think it's so terrible for her. Like, she spent her whole life hearing about Survivor. She finally gets a chance. She's really good at it. She's in a great position. She seems like a lock for the match.
She's in a good position for sure.
It's never great. It's never great when someone goes out that way. You know, when it's someone like Ross, while he was a fantastic character, it's like, how much did he really have invested in this show? Like, you know, like, easier to reconcile, easier to kind of make peace with. But for all the reasons you outlined, very difficult to make peace with. And she would, I can't even imagine being in that situation.
This is why Sandra sits out of the challenges. You know, like everyone's like, oh, she's like Sandra, except she's really good at the challenges. Like, no, the challenges were the problem. So yeah, a death to all slides, obviously. Never go down a slide again. Yeah, just really painful, and I think that she delivered on what was promised. I think, as we talked about, like, her openness, her language, the fact that, like, these power players at least would have been Nina, like, it wouldn't have been a full boys club, because she actually was, like, it's, like, it seems really in, and when she leaves, it's like, oh, now all the women really are on the bottom. It puts Jade more on the bottom. That was unfortunate as well. I'm upset that for that second run, she's previewed how good she is, that we've talked on and on and on and given her tizzy points about what a good player she is, because she didn't have that liability here. Like, she was Sandra's daughter, but we hadn't waxed lyrical for so long about her specifically being so good, and now she will come back with that target. So Nina wasn't great, guys. Let's just get that out there. She was fine. Sandra's daughter, not important. Yeah.
She was fine.
Yeah, it's devastating. But check out the X-Men interview, because that was really fun. And we are going to hope to get a deep dive with her.
Yeah, that's awesome. Can't wait for that. It is interesting that JLP almost promised that she would be back. Like,
That made me
I've
feel
never
better.
heard that happen. It made me feel worse almost, because it's like, don't promise something that you can't actually guarantee. Like, you cannot guarantee that. Like, you can't guarantee that there's going to be another season. You can't guarantee that you're going to have returning, that she's going to be able to do it. And like maybe she might go, oh, you know, I'm not going to have a family because I'm going to play Survivor. Like, there's just, I feel like Survivor and the hope of coming back for Survivor players already is such a carrot dangled in front of people that, you know, they can never make peace with their journey. And like, now you've done it. Like, because if they don't make good on that promise, like, oh, it's like another blow for her to do.
I like the JLP. Yeah. Her ankle's okay. I like the JLP thinks that the show's going to go on long enough to fulfill this promise. I mean, though the ratings haven't been great, but like, it can't ever get cancelled until Nina comes back. So I'm feeling good about where we're at. I mean, I don't think it needs to be an all-stars. They brought back Luke before. I would not be shocked if, like, hey, it's also Nina and also these newbies. They also don't know who she is because they haven't watched it. That's how we cast it. So, yeah.
Do you think that the advantage, the immunity challenge, the non-elim was a direct response? Do you think that it was slated for later in the season and they kind of brought it forward? Do you think it was always going to be then? Like, what are your thoughts?
I mean, the fact that there were 2 in 1 week makes me think maybe. There's usually one in that, like, last week before the merge where we had 2. I wouldn't be surprised if they have a contingency of, like, someone gets medevaced before the immunity challenge. This is the non-elim that we have in that place. Like, it's not like we came up with this now, but we did pull the, like, we, like, hit the hammer through the glass of, like, emergency, here's our non-elim. That wouldn't shock me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Should we get to the Chizzy? Speaking of Nina, who is currently leading the Chizzy. Oh, I'm so sad.
Go for it.
Take it away, Jacob Sager Weinstein and MC Color.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. It's getting kind of chilly. 3, 2, 1.
All right. I will go first on Chizzy. I felt like this to me was an easy week for who should get points. I thought that it was actually a little bit hard to decide how they should get points because I thought all these people were really fantastic this week, but it will come as no surprise based on like the praise I've given out in 2.5 hours of this podcast so far. Jesse, 3 points, ridiculous social game. He was never going home with the croc vote, tell your friends. He's spearheading the vote, but he needs to play big to garner respect because he is the tasty kid. It's not perfect and people were put off by it a lot, but, well, a little bit. People were put off, but he made it work. He rallied. He has to play that hard, and I honestly respect it, and there were a lot of little moves in it that I really enjoyed. I will give 2 points to Sam, also for being in the middle. Again, like, maybe a little bit less on the Ben thing, but hard to fault it. It's just that Jessie, I felt like, really needed to, like, play hard. But then Sam, like, this was a 3-point game for Sam as well this week. It's just, everyone was so good, but it doesn't even come back on her. You know, her name isn't even in it. Even after she's spearheading all of these votes, which is incredible. I think she probably has been the best player of the pre-merge. It probably would have been her and Nina, but now Nina is gone. So super central, doesn't get the blowback, and then the connection with Khan that he's like willing to do that to get social capital with her, I think speaks to her social game as well. And then I'll give a point to Khan, who I also thought had a great week. Hard week to give points, but I love the necklace move. He held onto the idol over 3 tribals. He said on Twitter he was in on the croc vote. I'm like, that changes things about how much he was, you know, obviously in on the votes, trying not to give so much credence to social media stuff, but he does seem connected pretty much through all the votes and was doing some fun and creative stuff. I'll give an honorable mention to Geordie for besting Mark, as we said in that interaction. I gave him 3 last week for the work he was doing with the Alliance that I feel like manifested well throughout the whole swap, and I think that those 3 points were given there, and that Bloodia did not do a lot this week. And Michelle was in on all 3 plans in the croc vote too, but she was a decoy in the first vote, and left out of the last vote with Ben, and we just don't know where she stands, so it's hard for me to give the points. But I'll give an honorable mention to being in the thick of it with the most important vote of the week.
Okay, cool. I've got slightly different, but not too different. So I'm going to give 3 points to Sam, simply because Jessie was targeted, and Jessie was rubbing people up the wrong way about the way he was talking to people. Sam hasn't been in trouble for all the reasons we said, playing a great game, seems rock solid with Jessie. He's able to flip-flop. People still think that she is their best friend. So 3 points to Sam. 2 points to Jessie because of how aggressive he was playing and how he was able to make it work, and he's got this almost ride or die with Sam. I do get the sense that Jessie is going to almost have a little bit of the taste of blood and is going to... I kind of thought about it. You kind of talked me into this idea that, like, wow, like he has to play really aggressive. I could see him turning on Sam. Thoughts?
I mean, I feel like they're the only pair we have like a really strong sense of that aren't related. But yeah, wait, one day.
That's why
because he needs to keep building the resume. It's like the resume will never be satiated that he, like, that the resume is complete. Like, it needs to be, like, he's, like, pretty much applying for university, and it needs to, like, he probably pretty much is. Like, he needs to keep, like, he's in that very much resume phase of life.
Yeah, I think that there's more to that story, and I feel like it's either she's going to try to turn on him or he's going to turn on her, and it's not going to work, or I don't know. I feel like there's something afoot. There's something afoot there, but it is amazing that, like, when we're looking at this merge, we've got people like Mel, Michelle, and Dave. We have very little information on where they're standing and what is going to happen. So I don't know. I'm fascinated about what is next to come, and I think that the Blood versus Water theme is just going to take off even further. My 1 point, I want to give it to KJ. Is that scandalous?
No, I also was thinking about it.
I'm going to give it to KJ. Like, sometimes when she talks, I'm like, I can hear a winner edit voice coming through. I don't think it's a legitimate chance, but, like, if the show was edited a bit better, I would be probably in on KJ being a winner prospect. I just like that the other tribe, it clearly seems like the other tribe really wanted her. So there must be something there that we're missing. Or I don't think it was brought over purely for the JL-ness of it all, of, like, you know, she's our soft target. But I think there's something there. So I'm giving it 1 point to KJ.
Yeah, I mean, I think we got questions like...
Honorable mention to Geordie as well.
Yeah, but we got questions about KJ, like, how did it go so wrong? She was brought over positively, and then she's, like, a target, but she wasn't targeted. Mel was targeted before her, and Shay had won immunity, so I don't think it went as poorly as it looked.
Yes.
I wanted to say I loved the duality. I said this on Twitter, but, like, again, that fire and ice thing that Sophie and KJ have had, the blood and water thing, that Sophie was voted out in an anonym, and KJ was taken in an anonym, was just, like, another really fun manifestation of that. And I see it, I do. I think the fact that she's so willing to be like, yeah, put my name down. Like, you know, Khan does that in the first episode of this week as well. Like, oh, I mean, he has the idol to protect, but like, make me the split. And we've you know, spoken so much about like Shay doing it, and Harry did it on All Stars, and KJ every time. She's not saying like make me, but she like they're so comfortable with her that even if they're splitting on her, they're not blindsiding her. And I think that speaks to like a very interesting, a very subtle, hard to tell, but an interesting way to approach the game. That means she's always in the know because you're not scared to tell her even when her name is on the block.
Yeah.
So some fun stuff there. Well, Sam is winning the Chizzy.
How many cheesy points does she have?
Now she's on 2. So, with your point. I like that Sam and Jessie won the week together. That feels right. They were very good as a duo. Yeah, so Sam's leading the charts on 14. Nina, oh my god, left on 9. Sandra, left on 6. Tragedy. Jessie's on 5. Mark is on 5. Geordie's on 3. Michelle on 2. Khan now on 2. And KJ on 2. So...
Wow, Sam is really far ahead.
Yeah, I know, with like the Nina and Sandra of it all. We got questions around the promos. Did you see the promo that was like, prepare yourself for a shocking goodbye with a photo of Nina? And then she went home. Like, people like, this must be a bluff because how would they... And no, we were prepared. It wasn't shocking anymore because you said it in the promo. What?
Yeah.
The
Don't interact with any promo material.
Don't watch the promo. So yeah, I mean we got a lot on like the big players must go and then like Mel's and fire making. Like that terminology specifically for this event is just.
What do you think? Who do you think is going to be? Just
I still can't
give me 2 names of the people who, like, say 3 people do get voted out next week. Give me 2 names people who you think are in trouble.
I could see the theme, which has been homogenous groups picking off bottom feeders. I'm sure KJ's name will be in around it, but she'll be part of it. I could see the twins being expendable because they have been perennial split options and actually targeted at times. Shay, I think if she doesn't win immunity, is in a lot of trouble. Like, I could see the kind of big power factions.
From the ruins you mentioned. Found them when I tracked down your thieves. Turns out they got themselves into more trouble than they could handle.
That's the Forbidden West for you.
I, got you those flowers you asked for, too.
Ah! I'll finally be able to try that leaf water the Utaru rave about. Excellent.
Does this mean you can start working on your armor now?
Not quite. I was taking a morning walk to clear my mind for the visionary task ahead of me. And I ran across a herd of lancehorns. Swift, delicate, but vigorous. The best armor in the Forbidden West should be just as nimble. And I'll need their parts to achieve that.
I might be able to hunt them down for you.
That's all I needed to hear.
I have to go.
The best of luck to you.
Oh, is that the end? Oh, no, it's just saying all the ones that are done, right? Anyway, so this is another one. We'll do it now and then.
Close to this area.
I guess that's how the other one was structured too, wasn't it?
There they are. Time to hunt some lancehorns. Looks like frost is no good here. Might be faster to hunt these guys on a mount.
Wait, where did the mount go? I just realized that. Where'd the rest go? Wow. Fuck, I need to get a new mount though. That's kind of annoying. Where'd it go? Just the one left, right? There it is.
I can switch it up. Another one. Honda's crew should be able to pick things up from here. We'll just take some salvage back to camp like Honda asked.
Alright.
Honda's in trouble. I better deal with those machines.
Electric. Spikes now.
I'm surprised we haven't gotten more of those scavengers. Well, with all the scrap we
Damn scavengers! They're an occupational hazard, but still, it's a good thing you showed up.
Happy to help. I brought you the Lancehorn salvage you asked for.
Ah, this ought to make my armor shine like a spark in the night. Thank you, Aloy. Maybe you'll visit our main camp near Barren Light sometime. Bear witness to a moment in history as my armor transcends all others.
Sure, if I can. Take care, Honda.
I like scrap.
Alright.
You never know what treasures you'll
Oh,
find.
did I get one? Oh, I did. It's not that great though, is it? Yeah, it's like easily the weakest weapon I have. Oh. What do we want to do next? I guess we'll do the ruin. I don't know even know why I did that, considering we have, like, we had a thing right next to us, but whatever.
An old world ruin. Might be worth taking a look inside. See what I can find.
Oh, I'm an idiot. It's literally right here. Yeah, we'll end here. I'll do another episode. But yeah, fine. Thanks for watching. Not one, that's two.